Alright, with Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out later this week, I thought I'd talk about all the things I'm looking forward to in the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. I'm going to be talking about some spoilers for Fallen Order and the book Battle Scars that came out recently, so spoilers ahead in case you haven't read or played them. The first thing we need to talk about is obviously,
Will there be a poncho in the game?
and by that, I mean the customization. Now sadly, it's been confirmed that the ponchos are out. Sorry Cameron, but no. No ponchos. Seriously though, collecting them all was pretty great in the first game, but I never wore them. I just liked the base outfit. It's way better than all the ponchos. But when we talk about the other customization, we obviously have the lightsaber customization, but we have so much more we can do. We have a range of jackets, and as a jacket man myself, I am so pumped to have so many jackets to choose from. But we also have different hairstyles and facial hair. We can have him with a mullet. We can make him look like Obi-Wan, or that guy down at the train station who's asking everyone for drugs. We can give him facial markings, and we can also update BD1. I know he got a few skins in the first game, but now we can actually customize certain things on him to make him look like how we want. But you know what? I love him so much, I'm gonna keep how he looks because that's such an iconic look. Maybe I'll upgrade into some other stuff, but you know, I'm just gonna keep him as is. And moving on from customization, let's talk a bit about the combat. Now, in the first game, I was pretty happy with having like two and a half stances with the single blade, the dual blade, and then at the end we get the twin blade lightsabers where we get to separate it and slash him. That was really fun, and that's how I had to beat Malicos, because fuck him. But in this game, we get 5 stances, which is, you know, double the amount that we had in the first game. So obviously we have the return of single and double, fully fleshed out the twin blade stance, and they're also adding the crossguard stance and the blaster stance, which is the one I'm most looking forward to. You know, a bit of a tangent. I used to play Disney Infinity back when it was popular, and when the Star Wars games came out, they had Luke Skywalker, and he was the only character in that game to have both a lightsaber and a pistol, and honestly he was the most well-rounded and the best character to play. So having Cal Kestis have a blaster and a lightsaber is something I'm very much looking forward to. Something I have read is that you can only equip 2 stances at a time, which, you know, is not what I was hoping for, because like in Ghost of Tsushima, which is a great game by the way, you have access to all your stances. You just have to press a button and you just switch to that stance, and I was really hoping Jedi Survivor would do something like that, but so be it. We just have 2 stances at a time. Now the enemies. Yes, we have the return of the stormtroopers that we love and know. You know, the purge troopers, the shock troopers. Some of them even have shields now. But what I'm most looking forward to is the return of the battle droids. Someone who grew up while the prequels were coming out, battle droids are my bread and butter when it comes to enemies. So we have the return of the B1 and B2 battle droids. We have magnet guards, droid deckers, BX commanders, even have the dark troopers from Star Wars Rebels. Oh my god, so much variety. And on top of that, we also have a lot more beasts, including rancors and wampers. Now, I really liked the diversity of the enemies in the first game, where every planet had its own set of enemies, but I'm really glad that they're doing even more beyond that. And I have no idea where the droid's coming from, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm guessing there's like some sort of plot line about some sort of warlord having these droids or whatever, and I'm really looking forward to that. So those are all the, you know, the grunt enemies that we just talked about. But I want to talk about some of the main villains that we're coming up across. We have Ravis, who is a Gendai, which if you don't know, he was introduced back in the Genndy Tartakovsky, his Clone Wars series, and he was this massive brute of a villain that could just put himself back together with all these tentacles and stuff. And then that character, whose name was Dirge, was recently canonized back with the Dr. Aphra comics. Now, Ravis obviously isn't that character, but he's hopefully going to have a lot of the same skill set, and he's lived a long time. And from what we've seen in the trailers, he seems like such a complex villain, and much more than just this tough, brutish guy. And seemingly working with him is this High Republic Jedi that I've come across. This is probably the thing I'm looking most forward to when it comes to the villain, is having 2 very similar characters. You know, Cal being a Jedi, this High Republic Jedi obviously being a Jedi, but, you know, with the 200 years distance between them, they have very different values. Whereas Cal, he was part of the Order when it fell, you know, when it was at its lowest point, when they were full of dogma, where they were very hypocritical in themselves. And then you have the High Republic Jedi, who was literally part of the Order at the peak of the Order. And even though it's just 200 years, there was a lot of time that passed where their morals and their ideals as a Jedi are really different. And seeing that play out over the story is going to be really, really interesting. And also we have whoever the fuck that Powan is on Coruscant that we see in the very first trailer of the game. Literally, we haven't seen a single iota of him in any of the other trailers. Just that first trailer where he's like, I have your lightsaber, Cal. Now I'm gonna destroy you. And yet, nothing else. So whatever the fuck's happening on Coruscant is also something I can't wait to delve into. Another thing I'm looking forward to are all the traversal options. So in the first game, we pretty much just have walking around. That's it. And you know what? There wasn't even any fast travel. So if you're trying to find some customizations or whatever, and you have to go all the way to the other ends of the map, you have to walk all the way back to get back to the Stinger Mantis, which is not fun. But this time, we can actually have some mounts that we can get onto. There's some flying creatures we can glide across. There's some animals we can go on. Hell, there's even a speed bike we can go on and we can bash some stormtroopers in. Although I'm sure that's a scripted sequence. But still, this time we actually have options. Oh, and there's also fast travel, so that's even better. Oh, thank God. Like, I do understand the appeal of having a Metroidvania where you don't just fast travel, so you actually have to experience everything. But with such a big game, this game is big, it's fucking 150 gigabytes, I'm really glad they introduced fast travel and mounts. And lastly, of course, we have to talk about ponchos.
Poncho.
I mean, sorry. I mean, the characters. Now, in the first game, we have Seer, we have Grease, and we have Merrin. And the story that we take as the player with all these characters is a very impactful story about all these people, all these wounded people coming together to try to take down the Empire. And if you haven't read it, Battle Scars really delves into that and how everyone is kind of in it for the same reason, but also really isn't. And in the trailers for Jedi Survivor, we see that everyone's in a different place. Seer, she's off trying to restore the Jedi Order. Grease, he seemingly left everyone because, if you haven't read it, Grease lost an arm trying to protect everyone, and he got kind of pissed off about that. And Merrin seems to be off doing her own thing as well, trying to get revenge from her planet being destroyed from the Separatists. So, seeing everyone in really different places than when we left them off is something I'm really looking forward to returning to. And there's also companions that we can choose to come with us on our adventures. I know there's Bode and Merrin that can come with us if we choose, but I don't know there's any more. I'm really excited to see who else can join us. And yeah, that's it. Those are pretty much all the things I'm looking forward to in Jedi Survivor. Ah, sorry, I forgot the most important thing. Ponchos, obviously.
But you haven't mentioned a poncho.
No. But seriously, let me know what you're looking forward to down in the comments. And until next time, when the adventure continues.